right? So we'll have those 2 points. You'll be able to go this way with the leg, and at the same time, you'll be able to go this way with the articulation. Hello everyone, and welcome to another Zbrush class by Alain Diaz. Today we're going to be doing an alternative to the other articulation that we did on the hip for our figure. We're going to have a different articulation joint here than the ball joint that we did previously on the other video. So to begin with, let's go ahead and insert a cylinder to our scene. This cylinder is going to be our first pivot point. First pivot point is going to be from the side here, so the leg is going to pivot this way. So what we do is we're going to use the exterior circumference of the cylinder to find where it is that we're going to cut the leg to pivot. So what you want to do is you want to stick the front edge here. You want to stick this edge of the cylinder as close possible to the front here and leave more room in the back. Also kind of close to the top. And closer. There. Okay, let's make this a little bigger. See from the front here. Okay. And we have a lot of butt there. This would be part of that. That's fine. Okay, I think that's good for our first cut here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna duplicate this point, this cylinder. Duplicate. Turn off the other one. And on this one, we also want to go ahead. Let's see. I want to mask off this much. And I want to pull this down and out like that. Okay. Right. Let's turn on our brush tool here, the C modeler, and add a loop right here and add a loop right here. You should all know how to add loops by now using the C modeler tool. That's on a different video. Okay, so then we take that and we dynamic, flat division to 1, smooth to 3, apply, delete history. So we got a nice smooth surface to cut with. We're gonna go ahead and cut this, turn everything else off, from our body here. Let's do a boolean. Okay. Yep, that's what we want. Let's make a boolean mesh. Insert. Turn everything else off. Turn off the boolean. Let's do an Autogroup. Okay, so that puts everything in this subtool. We click Control Shift, select rectangle, Control Shift, click on our main part here, and delete everything else. Delete hidden. Okay, and we have our first rotation part here from the side. Now, this guy, let's make a duplicate of this guy because we're going to use him to cut the legs away from the main body. So to make a boolean, you first make a duplicate of the original. You Dynamesh that. Always Dynamesh first. Let's get a little more resolution on the guy here. We're kind of running into a thin edge here. That's fine. We'll have to cut that off. Okay. Now do an inflate 3. Another Dynamesh. Oop, too high. Lower the resolution a little bit. Okay. So now we're gonna cut this from our main body here. So let's do a boolean, and that's what we're looking at here. Okay, let's go ahead and make that. Okay, turn off the boolean, insert the part we just made into our scene. Okay, there it is. Now just notice this is not symmetrical because this model was finished. But for articulation, you always have to work in symmetry. So let's just go ahead and make our two legs here symmetrical before we move forward. Let's see. Mirroring well. I like that side. Let's mirror to the other side. And now do a mirroring well. Okay, that looks better. We'll take this off symmetry after we do the articulation. If not, it's just going to take forever to do this. Okay, so we have that, and we have this that pivots on that. Now I need to get my second rotation here on this guy. So this will turn this way. So this cylinder here, let's make a duplicate of that and inflate that. Center. Make sure you're always working from center when you use the gizmo. Okay, so this is the boolean we're going to use to cut off the bottom part of the leg here. And this guy kind of sits close to the outer edge here of our leg. All right. Oop, getting kind of long there. Let's shrink them up a little bit. All right. And just make them a little bigger. All right. Now this guy, let's turn on polyframe here so you can see our frame and pull this down, mask this off, bring this in and up into the crotch here. All right. Once again, we go back to our C modeler. We're gonna loop here. We're gonna add a loop here. Then we go to dynamic subdivision, dynamic, flat spacing of 1, smooth of 3, apply, delete lower history, and that's ready for boolean. So we make it a negative, and we're gonna take this guy to get turn everything else off. Remember, if you hold down shift, you can, and by clicking on the eye here, you can turn everything on or everything off. So turn everything off and bring up the part we're gonna boolean, which is this part. Turn on the boolean, and this is what we're gonna have here. So go ahead and make that boolean. Make a boolean. Turn off the boolean, and let's insert the part we just made. Turn everything else off. Okay, let's do a mirroring well here because this is the side we want. Nope, not that side. Mirror to that side. Remember, Zbrush has one side it mirrors from, so you gotta be on the side you want to mirror in well. Let's do it now. Okay, so that's what we want. Let's do an Autogroup and click on the main part here. Delete hidden. Okay, so we have this part and we have this part. No, that's not the part we have. That's a boolean. Let's go ahead and delete that boolean. Delete. Okay, so we have this guy and we have this guy. Now we have this guy. This is the guy we want. So this turns this way and the leg will turn this way. Now now this part here, I need to cut this along the way here. Where's our side? Here it is. So this guy, make a duplicate of him. Let's delete that part. We don't need this anymore. Actually, let's just go ahead and reverse the history on this and get it back to before we changed it. There. And so now center. Let's shrink this, make it long, turn into the small center rod here. Okay. All right, this is exactly where it should be. Perfect. And so now for the next stage here, we're gonna take this guy, duplicate him, and now I need to cut off about, oh, what happened? Oh, I have this one selected. Okay, I have two of them. So on this guy, I took that off. Let's do them. I only need the middle part. So let's do a mirror and well. No, let's do a mirror and well. Okay, that's the part I need. And now this part duplicate, make that a boolean. Let's Dynamesh this part. Inflate. And now we're going to remove this part from this guy. Let's make sure we only have what we want selected here. Turn everything off. So we're going to take this guy from this guy. So we have these two parts here. Okay, make boolean. All right, come on, insert that part. Turn off the boolean. So now we have that. We have this, and we have this. And so now we need the leg. So I'm gonna take this guy. Let me clean the scene a little bit here. Get rid of some booleans. Let's do a save. So in case we erase something that we did want. So now that it's saved, now I can delete this boolean I don't need. And I no longer need that part. So I have these parts. And so with these parts, let me duplicate that. Dynamesh that. And we're gonna inflate. Let me show you which part. This part, that's what we're inflating. Inflate by 3. Okay. And that part, turn everything else off. We're gonna remove from this. Make it a boolean. Make it a boolean. There you go. So we'll have to cut this off a little more, but that's basically it. Make a boolean. Turn off the boolean. Insert. Turn everything else off. Okay. So I only want this leg here. So I'm gonna get I have my trim curve selected, and I'm gonna chop this off. Chop it off. Chop it off. I need to chop it off right there. Don't cut the circle part. Don't cut this part. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Okay, Autogroup. Delete hidden. So let me see what I have now. I have that. I have this. I have this guy. And I have the top here. Okay. So then we would smooth on this guy. This would be smoothed out and turn into a wrinkle of some kind. All right, but I believe we have the parts we need here. Let me check our joints. Maybe a little cleaning. So this is our joint there that needs a part from the top to turn. That's the part that's missing there. And the top joint is not that one, but this one. Yes. So this part is going to pivot on that part, and this part is going to pivot on this part. So now I need one more joint here on this leg, between this leg. Let me clean the scene up a little more. I don't need this boolean anymore. Delete. This part, I want to have one part showing, not two, because it's confusing. So we're working on symmetry. Let me delete, erase that part, delete hidden. Okay. And so now we need one more joint where the leg turns this way. So for that, we duplicate the leg. First, let's see, where's this guy? Let's bring this guy closer to the leg. Okay. The leg here, duplicate the leg. So now we have two legs. Let's put it on top of the little cylinder here. So on this guy now, what I need is a little center part here. So let me get, I got my trim. Nope, let me bring out my trim curve out. I'm going to cut a slither of this on the back here. I'm going to cut a slither of this on the front. Let me take a measurement on this. 30. That's fine. That's very thick, but it's compared to the leg. What's the measurement here? 20.20, 0.22. Yep, that's strong enough. So then I also want to cut down under the little cylinder here. I want to cut it right under it, because what we're going to do is we got to round off the bottom of this. So I'm going to cut that off right there. And now what I need to do is I'm gonna take this cylinder, let it save, let it save. We're still recording, excellent. I'm gonna take that and duplicate it. Gizmo center, and I'm gonna, let's hide the rest of the leg here. There we go. And this little guy, I'm gonna bring out to the, ooh, not so thick here. There we go. We need to make it the thickness actually of our little chunk here, give or take. Okay, and all right. This one is gonna turn on that. Yes. What's the size of this? From the point, no, center here to the outside. Yep, that's plenty strong, plenty strong. All right. Need to blend this in with the top here. Now this is gonna blend in with the top. So this guy, we need to pull him up. We're gonna pull him up here. You see, he's gonna become part of this guy. Oh, not so much. Right, you just need to go up a little bit. That's it. That's all you need to go up in there. Okay. So now let's Dynamesh those two first, actually. This guy and this guy. Right, these need to be done. Merge down. And make sure let this Dynamesh down. Dynamesh. So now you can take this here and erase that. Okay. Alright, and so now I need to add this cylinder to it. Let me take the cylinder. The cylinder, same size as the slither or less. Okay. On this cylinder, I want to get rid of this exterior part here. Let me see. This is kind of what I want to do. Didn't do nothing. Oh, have to have edit and draw for it to work. like that. No, I cut up a little. I can't have. Let's just cut up the top. Hey, that's what I want. I want to cut up the top part of this one. That's what I want. That's what I want. Now let's merge these two. Let's put this one on top of him. Merge down. Merge down. Okay. So now let's get the planner brush here. And you have to hold down Alt. But I'm going to be able to now also turn off RGB here because now I decided to paint. Hold on Alt and you can hold that bottom surface up to the top. So again, the planner brush, but if you don't hold down Alt, it won't do it, right? You have to hold down Alt and then I'll pull the surface. Don't bring that, be careful not to go that far out here. You can pull the surface to that other surface. If you hold down Alt, right? So planner brush, but you hold down Alt. Now for this corner here, I'm not going to hold down Alt. I'm going to use this plane to get rid of that button right there. Okay, let's do a Dynamesh on this. This is just kind of smooth it out a little bit here. That, all right. Smooth out that. Oh, don't do it yet. So now what we need to do is we need to take that part we just made from this leg. Let's put it under it. Duplicate. And now this duplicate, where it's going to be the boolean. We already did a Dynamesh channel. Let's do an inflate of 3. And that's going to be a boolean to the leg. Like that. Okay, make that part, make boolean. Insert. So you have some extra floating little crap on here. So do Autogroups, delete hidden. Okay, so that part, turn off the boolean. That part is going to be connected to this part via this rod. So I'll pivot this way, which we'll do in a minute. And then both of these are going to pivot. I'll pivot on this rotation on the body this way. And now to hold that rod, we need to take the body and attach this crotch part here. So let's turn everything off. And the crotch part and the body. Do a save. Save, save, save. I can't tell you how many times to save, save, save. This is, we'll call this version 3. Save. Save many versions of your work. Then I'm going to mask this off and mask this off, this off. And I'm going to just slightly move out this into the upper body so I can Dynamesh them together. So let me take the body and bring it down and merge this crotch part into the body so I can Dynamesh them. So I'm going to merge down, turn on my Dynamesh, bring up the resolution, Dynamesh. So again, that was kind of low on the resolution. Let's increase a little bit. As you keep adding doing Dynamesh, what I look for is the minimum amount of distortion or change when I do a Dynamesh. But without going too hard, right? Don't go into 2000 unless the part is really small and you need it. Dynamesh. So that's good there. That detail wasn't really distorted, and now I can still smooth really easily. And I can smooth this edge here because that edge is too sharp. So we're going to have to actually just cut that off. Let me go ahead and do that. If I hit Alt, I can create curve points here on my trim curve. It's actually still still too thin. So what we're gonna do even better is let's get the lasso tool and just lasso a whole part there, and lasso this whole, oh damn it, lasso this whole part here. Okay, let's be a little more, put more of a curve, a curve in it, like that. Like that. Let me go back to my mask pen and just kind of get this edge to here. Way too thin, so we're just going to have to turn that off. Turn this off. So there, to blur the mask, what I'm doing is using shortcuts, but you can also use masking here, and you get the same. You can blur the mask, you can shrink the mask, you can grow the mask, sharpen, blur, and now do for masking, delete hidden, do a Dynamesh. And now we have more material to smooth out, to just smooth it out. Sure you have your smooth stronger brush on here. So we get a more impactful smoothing. It doesn't take us long to get a nice clean edge. Dynamesh. So we're doing a lot of Dynamesh to get all this, see all these little creases, all that stuff is bad for the printer, so we want to clean that off. This back edge is okay, don't worry about that for now. Okay, it's kind of all blend in. It's a wrinkle. So we have this part, and then we have this part. Let's where's this part? Let me get rid of some booleans here. Delete that boolean. This part we can now kind of smooth this here, make that disappear more. All right, let me get rid of everything. Just this whole top edge here, I can just kind of smooth out. This is the cool thing about this joint is you're gonna all these cuts are gonna really disappear. And the leg, the same thing. I can smooth out all those sharp edges. Just smooth them out. All right. Save as. Save, save, save. Please. Please, please, please. That way you don't lose your work. All right. Let me clean the scene up a little more. Booleans here. I don't need that boolean. Delete. This leg, I don't need anymore. Delete. Do I not need that leg? I have this leg. Yeah. Delete that leg. So we have our leg, our next pivot point, and our hip. And that's almost it. Let me check off the leg. Where's my pivot point here? No, this guy, no. This guy, let me bring this guy down here. So that's our pivot point. So this, transparent, gizmo center, duplicate that rod. Let's shrink it this way. This way. Hold down Control, pull on here. You can make a copy, an exact copy. That one's now, and the other one's masked off. So I'm gonna make a little locking head in here. Let me take a measurement real quick, because this rod should be significant. 0.10. Let's go back a little bit here. Gizmo center, and let me turn this off and turn this on. How big can I get here before I get to the edge? That's good. Okay, let me bring it back. Hold on Control, inflate that new part. So I'm making a locking head here. So this pivot part here is going to lock into that part, and it'll turn this way. Show you in a minute. So that's going to go there. And this guy, mirror and well, nope, mirror and well. It's going to be like that. So this is top part of the top pelvis, and then this part turns this way on that, right? Okay, right, so this part will rotate this way, not backwards, of course, because your leg doesn't go that way, but it can come up this far. And so that's what's gonna turn your leg, because your leg will be attached, merged down to this part. So now your leg will be able to come up this way. If we wanted to come up that high, we're gonna have to eat into a little more into our crotch part here. Let's see. So that means our little crotch part here, this guy, symmetry right here. Let's do transparent ghost. Now you can see we need to mask off this area here. So our leg can come up this high, right? If you want your leg to come up even higher, like to there, which is acceptable, I'm gonna have to mask off more of this area here. I'm masking off, so of course I can trim that off, right? Okay, so that's kind of, let's go to your masking and blur, right? Roll a little, sharpen, blur, and now from masking, delete hidden, Dynamesh, E. Well, that's not good. So what happened there is that we masked off the front, so it didn't go all the way to the back. Okay? So we gotta make sure it goes all the way to the back. So let's just see if we can do that. Let's see. Best way to do that is get the lasso and just go ahead and run the lasso like that. Make sure you get close to that edge. So of course now we masked off the back, so make sure you unmask the back there. And now we have these covered. So now again, once again, from masking, delete hidden, Dynamesh, okay, and let's move. Careful not to be too destructive when you're smoothing these kind of parts here. So you don't want to get rid of all the fine edges, you know. So easy on the smoothing. Ooh, we got a cavity back there. That's not good. Flip. Yep, it's a tab there. Once again, here's another cool feature about the flip tool. Because I couldn't mask that off like this, but if I flip it, I can actually manipulate the inside. Let me turn on a mask pen here. I can mask this off, flip, and I didn't really mask off the outside because I had it flipped. I have my normal flip. So now I can say from masking, delete hidden, and now when I Dynamesh, I'll just cover that hole, and there'll be no little bridge in between anymore. Flip. Now be careful here because that could be a rubbing area there. So we're going to go back to our planner. We selected our planner brush and just get rid of that little crap that came in here like that. There you go. And the other side. Ooh, no. Yeah. Okay. Dynamesh. Now this edge is thin, but it's not so thin that it won't come out. That's a good, nice, thick part here. You can, of course, smooth that out. You definitely don't want any sharp edges. That also, it's not only better for printing, almost mandatory for printing, but it gets rid of, oops, save file. It gets, it makes the joint more invisible. Okay, so now this guy, the leg can come out this far. I think it's eating in here too. Let's flip. Oh yeah, the crotch is getting a big part into a part there too. So that means that that front part of the crotch you're gonna have to thin out. Flip. If you want your leg to come up this high. So once again, let's see, we're in symmetry here. If we put it on ghost, so you can actually, okay, you can kind of see what you need to do there. All right, so we need to kind of get rid of that part. Let's try again the masking tool, lasso. Let's mask off that area. Almost want to maybe just push that back. This is a female character. Let me see here. Not so much. It's more like kind of like this. And get the move tool here. Very careful and gently here now. Let's just move this part here. Blah, 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 blah. It's still kind of biting into it here a little bit. Let me take the leg out. Okay, so I'm just now, with everything else masked off, the move tool, I'm going to push this edge in. Now I'm just gonna try to just smooth this front part out of the way here. Turn on the leg. Okay, much less. This might look to taking some of the leg away. Oops, taking some of the leg away because maybe the leg's got too much material there too. So let's leave the crotch behind now and take the leg, put that back where it was. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Yeah, so there's a lot of we can kind of get rid of that. So leave the crotch here. Okay, this guy we can smooth out. You know what? That was wrong on the crotch. Crotch looks good there. Let's not change the crotch. What we need to get rid of is this mass that's coming out here. We don't need that on the leg. So let's separate these two because they're just together, but they shouldn't be together. They're not going to be, together when we print them out. So split hidden. And so what we're going to do is on the leg, we're going to cut off this part, which is what was running into our fabric up here. And this is going to look much better than having to get rid of that crotch part there and make that hole. So we cut that out, and now on this guy, we cut, let me see something real quick. Right, on this guy, we just cut off this part here. There. And now that disappears into there. Okay, so now we have, let's make a duplicate of our, well, not yet. Let's bring this under our leg. This guy is this guy actually that holds that part together. That part goes into that part, and the leg pivot is on this part. And that's kind of it, short of the kind of cavity we made on here to assure that our leg goes all the way to closer to our chest. That's kind of it for our joint. Let me take the leg here. So on the leg, we're going to need this little hole here. And so we said that this rod is 0.05 diameter. So we're going to make that 0.05 diameter hole on our leg here. Make boolean mesh. Insert. Okay, so let's get rid of the old one. Delete. This guy also has the same little hole on him because he's going to be pinned together with this guy, with that rod. So let's go ahead and make this part. Make boolean mesh. Okay. Insert. Here it is. Here's the old one. Delete that one. Remember, we have all this saved, so if we somehow need that again, we can just go revert to that old file. Okay, so that's good. That's good. And so this part, this bottom leg pivots this way. Let's check that out. Actually, let's see what that's going to look like. Turn off boolean. On this guy, rotate. So I want to find center. This is how we rotate articulation here, right? I click on the little circle here and stand out. And so now where I select my leg now, it's already centered on that pivot point. And so now I can turn this on, and while on rotate, if I rotate here, it will rotate on that pivot. Now I can see that's good. So there, now I'm starting to eat into my leg. Of course, this is pretty wide. Remember, your leg only goes that far on the side. if I wanted to go this far in the leg, which is super extending, I would have to get rid of this little edge here. So it's up to you. I mean, how much do you want your leg to go this way? It's gonna go this much, this much, this much. Let me see. Flip. I kind of already ran into it. See, that'll show you too. If I flip, I can see when. Oh, immediately. Okay, so we actually, there we go. We have to take this guy and we need to turn that off. Never mind leaving that behind. Click on Alt ones to get a curve here. And I want to, maybe not so severe. Let's take that off. Have to be an edit and draw. Remember, I'm going to take that edge off. Okay, that won't be that visible from the side. And now, if when I pivot on my thing here, I can see, look, I can keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And here I finally start to run into my leg. So if you want this to go further up, you gotta chunk this off more here and make a bigger hole. I think I'm happy with the way that is there. Flip. Let me get rid of some of these cylinders. They're driving me nuts. Delete that. This is an original body. I don't need the original body anymore. Delete. Delete the original. This is the original body. Yes, delete. At this point, this is double legs. I don't need that. I don't need this giant cluster of a thing here. Delete that. Okay. Yeah. All right. So so now we have our leg that will turn this way, and also now when our leg, when, for example here, if we merge these two, just for an example now, I'm going to merge this top part with a leg to show you what the other part of the articulation is. So we know that the leg will turn this way, and it will also now turn, let me find my joint here first, this guy. So I select this guy, I click on the little button, little point in the center here, center rotation, and drag out a transpose line. And now when I go back to my leg and I merge down, or my hip part here, and I merge down to my leg, merge down, I can now see what that rotation is going to look like, right? It's going to go up like this and like this. Let me turn on the body. And we'll only be able to go to as far back as this, like normal anatomy, and it will go all the way up to that cavity we made earlier on the hip there. And that's the articulation you have on this guy. So then now the next part that I need to do is I take, because obviously this is going to be pinned through here, so that's good to go. Autogroup, split hidden. Let me take a time real quick to show you something, because this might get you in trouble. Now I had these groups, but notice the different polygroups this is made out of, because we took a chunk of this. When we take off a chunk with a trim tool, it makes two polygroups here, even though that's a solid chunk, a solid part. So if you click, if you try to separate these two now and just click on here, look at what's going to happen, right? That's not what you want. That's why I always, before I said, first check to see how it's grouped. But before anything, you do an auto groups, and that's going to assure now that these two are separate in the way they were being modeled. So now split hidden, and you have the two complete parts. Okay, let me take this guy. Right. Okay, so I see this guy's coming out here a little, so I'm going to have to shrink that middle cylinder somewhat, which is the next part we're going to do. Turn everything else off by holding down Shift. This guy is gonna, this guy, it pivots on that, on this joint here, turns this way. So we gotta make, but of course this is too big right now, and it doesn't have to be that big to work. So we're gonna make this guy gizmo center smaller, small enough to fit inside our guy here. Might get too thin. Let me see where are we at now. 25. Let's Autogroup, mask off the center here, and the two outer ones. Turn symmetry on. Gizmo center. So I'll center each outer tool here, and let's shrink these to there. So now we have enough room on the side here. Let me see, from here to here, 0.06. What we need there is about, no, that's too much now. Let's go ahead, let's go ahead and make this a little bigger again. Center. Move towards, well, not really, that's a good place there. Reverse, center, extend it, okay, like that. Let's measure from the side again, that we have enough room here to have a decent amount of plastic. Oop. Sorry about that. So from here to here we have 0.04, and from here to here we have 0.05. Perfect. 0.04, 0.05, that's kind of, even 0.03 would have been okay there because that's an internal. So that now being the right size to be strong enough and not to, not to be too big to eat into our moving joints here, we take that guy and we duplicate him. We're gonna Dynamesh him. Let's turn off the other one so we can see the Dynamesh. Yeah, that's a good Dynamesh. And we're gonna inflate him by 3. Information, inflate 3. So he's gonna be the boolean now. Let's get it under the guy, under our pelvis part here. So that's gonna be a boolean cut out there. So this guy can pivot this way with a leg attached. So we go ahead and make that part. Insert. And flip. And there we are. Oh, you can see here we have a little bridge thing going on here. We need to clean that up. These things happen. So I'm just gonna, I flipped it, I'm just gonna mask too big. I'm gonna mask this off, and I'm gonna mask this off. Actually, it gets smaller. Let's see if I mask that off, mask that off, that off, that off. Don't mask that part. And okay, from masking, delete hidden. Now while we're here, let's just also hit up, because those are unattached from our main body. If we do auto groups, those will be selected, and click delete hidden and do a Dynamesh. It's gotta be on. Reach the resolution, Dynamesh. Now when we flip it, it's good to go, nice and clean. And now this part, what is it? This part will fit in there. And so now what we need to do, this part, where is it? This part is now can be joined with our main body here, because those will be one. So let's take our body, merge it down with our pivot point here. Merge down, So those are one. And now this one will get attached to that one. And so how do we put this one in there? Is the next question. We'll just gotta make a little locking pin for this, and we're almost okay. So what we need now is a little locking part, so we can slide this guy into place and then lock him into place. So I duplicated him, so I have two. Pick up the boolean. Let me get rid of this boolean. I don't need this anymore. Delete. And no, just this part that I just duplicated. So this duplicated part, we're gonna take off this back part here. This is gonna become our locking pin. So I'm going to just select the insert perimeter brush here, and I'm gonna select the cube, and I'm gonna hold down shift to drop it in the correct plane, and I'm gonna here these insert tools, if your transpose line is not when you hold down shift, the click click click, if it's not on a X, Y, or C, if you have it on the to a 3/4 view like this, and you do an insert, so as long as your gizmo is center, let me take off the lock for a minute here. The gizmo was like this, center. If the gizmo was in this position and you try to insert a cube and you hold down shift, this is what happens. It aligns with that. So if you wanna be able to drop anything in and drop any subtool and align it, you have to make sure that the gizmo is aligned. So the best way to align the gizmo is edit and move is on, and transpose line selected. You hold on shift, click and drag, and just drop it straight on a plane, either up, down, etc. Now when you hit the gizmo will be straight. And now when you insert any insert brush here, if you hold down shift, it will align, and that's what we want right now. Okay. So, and let's also separate these two. Split hidden. And so now what I want to do, where's the back? Right. I want to cut off the rest of this part here. Let's find, give or take, the middle of this hole. Right? Because that's the way we're gonna lock this in. We gotta find the middle of this cavity here, give or take. There. Let's make this taller and make it big enough to cut off the whole part there. So this will be a boolean. Turn off polyframe. There you go. So let's go ahead and make that boolean mesh. Make boolean mesh. Okay, now insert it in your scene. Insert. And everything else off. And there's our part. So now I select Control Shift trim curve here, and I'm gonna cut off this top part here. Okay. And I'm gonna cut off this part here. Alright, and I believe I will cut off, I'm a little lost here. Where's that guy here? Okay, this is what we're cutting off. Right. Right. Sorry about that. So I'm cutting that off. I'm cutting this off. This is the back here. Oh, I'm getting too close to that hole. this little slither here would be too small. So let's go ahead and clip this here. Okay. And let's go ahead and get rid of this little knob that's coming out here. There we go. So this will be a little locking pin. Where's our locking pin? There it is. So I did a little spider, what we call a little spider web thing going here. I hate it when it does that. That's what happens sometimes when you use the trim curve here. It gives you the spider web thing. And so of course that's not good. So let's Dynamesh this and see if we can clean that up. So Dynamesh, let's increase this to 1500 because it's a small little part. Dynamesh. If we can actually did it. So again, clean it up by using a masking tool. I'm just gonna mask off that little square little piece of spider web. Unmask this back part here. Make sure nothing else is masked. Okay, and now for masking, get the select and click on the main part, delete hidden, clear your mask, Dynamesh. There you go. So now you can just actually get the planar brush and get that nice and clean. Alright, Dynamesh. There we go. There we go. So this little locking pin now, save as, because we gotta keep saving. We have a crash or something. So now this we duplicate it. It's already been Dynamesh, so we just have to inflate it to 3. And so now we're gonna remove that right from this guy. These are both the same. This guy, this guy. Let's get rid. These are both the same. So let's get rid of one here. Delete. And so this will become a negative. This is the inflated part. Will be boolean to this part, like that. And this will lock our part in place. So make a boolean mesh. Insert. Turn off the boolean. Great. So there we are. So now we can take our hip part here and slide this guy in. Right? We will slide him in, and then we can lock him in place with our little lock here. Good. Like that. Little lock. To insert, of course, what we would do is we would turn the leg. We will turn the leg this way, and then we could take our pin and slide it in from the back, and then we turn our pivot backwards again, and it'll be on our torso. So that's locked in there, and then when we put the leg in and pin that, we have our articulation joint. So all we need to do now is we have this leg, we duplicate, and we mirror, and we take the hip part here. So we have to do two things. We're going to have to duplicate this and mirror this, and you're also going to have to make a duplicate of the lock that we made. Duplicate and mirror. And now we have our full. Let's get rid of some stuff here. Let's get rid of that. Turn everything on here. And there you go. There's your articulation done. So now we can take, once again, to show you what this would do, let's group, merge down, let's group our little parts here, right? So we have our lock and our locking part, merge those down. This is for the sake of showing you the articulation, how it moves. Merge down, and then that's gonna go merged to this leg through a pen. Let me bring it down here, merge down. Okay, let me set up the rotation pip. This is now to obviously turn this in Zbrush, we need to use the dowels that we use to cut the actual holes. Those are the center of rotation, right? So that's that one, and then we also have the bigger one up here. This one is in the center of all that. So now with these two, let me actually go ahead and merge these two down at this point, merge down, so they just turn on when I need to. And so now let me take off that hand because it's in the way, delete. Okay, so now let me show you how this articulation would work. So you have your, did I group this already? Yeah, so there it is. I don't have any more legs, no. So this leg can now move. Let me set my rotation here. So like I was saying, this leg would be able to move this way. Hold on, there's something there. That's weird. I have an extra part that I don't need. Okay, I need to get, this is a boolean, delete that. This part is an old part I don't need, delete that. Okay, let's try that again. So our hip joint here. So first we use our boolean dowels that we use. Those are in the center of rotation. So we just kind of click on the little, right? So remember I told you it's magnetic. So you just click. Make sure you click. Don't click here on the side. That's on the center. Click on the middle here. Boom, and that's your center of rotation. So now when you select your leg, the leg is on the same center of that rotation. So now you can see your articulation joint is going to do this, right? And also, it'll also do, so now we change our articulation point here, it'll also do from this point. Now, to do this, you're going to have to mask off the bottom part of the leg. So on the leg here, select the bottom, go back to the turning rod here, center. Now go back to the leg, and now because the top is selected, now you can just rotate here and you'll see what other rotation this leg has. Right, so we'll have those 2 points. You'll be able to go this way with the leg, and then, and at the same time, you'll be able to go this way with the articulation. And there's the a different version of a hip joint for you guys to try and venture into if you want to. All right, like always, remember, write down any questions you have, and so you can ask me when we meet in class. Thank you, and have a good day.